Welcome back to The Man That Can. We have a very cool episode. Someone that is a very familiar face for the long-time listeners. Wesley, welcome back on the show, mate.
Welcome. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I think this is like third or fourth time
I think it's
on
fourth.
my podcast. So, and it actually has been genuinely a couple of years because the last time I spoke, we talked about that meditation retreat. So, and that was actually nearly 3 years ago.
That is crazy how quickly that's gone.
Yeah, time does its thing.
But this is probably the most beautiful scene we've had for it, right?
I actually think this is the best podcast set that you've ever had. So that I'm aware
high
of.
budget. Today I'm very excited with the 58 marathons. The charity of choice is the Mental Awareness Foundation, and Wes is the founder of that, co-founder of that. And one of the reasons, before we dive into what it's all about, the mission and everything like that, one of the reasons why I wanted to partner with MAF, and we've partnered a number of times over the years, is because they're local and because I have a great relationship with Wes. He literally wears his heart on his sleeve. I know he has a great level of integrity with what he does, and it is something that you are very passionate about. You founded 15 years ago, 14, 15 years?
Yes, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And you've created such an incredible community event, the Walk for Awareness. And for me, one of the most important things that has transformed my life has been community. So being able to tap into, what you guys have created and have your support on this as well means a lot. So I know together we're going to do great things. We're going to raise over $100,000. We're well on the way, and we're going to continue changing people's lives. So thank you.
No, thank you, mate. Actually, I was preparing for this morning, and I was actually watching one of your reels on YouTube because you're famous now. Anyway, and mate, one thing that stood out was paying to purpose, your comment. And I was just like, oh my God, it resonated with me so much, particularly just which I'll share with everyone, which I'm going through at the moment. But obviously 14, 15 years ago, I lost two mates to suicide 3 months apart. And obviously losing one person is tragic, but losing someone 3 months later is just absolutely mind-numbing, mind-blowing. It causes a lot of pain. And from that pain and dealing with that pain, I guess, revealed purpose. And that purpose was, one, to give back to the community, but two, to, I guess, go down the rabbit hole of mental health and learning about mental health and discovering mental health and why is mental health so important. And that has led us to where we are today. And from that pain has brought purpose. And I know that purpose has brought our relationship together and our friendship together. And I think, obviously I'm a part of your program. There is a purpose in there that we want to give back to the people that are involved with us, but also give back to the world. And, our organization, even though it's local, our message is worldwide. And our message is wanting to just help people and get the best out of people. And our mission at MAF is preserving lives by empowering individuals. So we want to obviously lift someone or encourage someone to either speak up or speak to about mental health. So thank you, mate.
You're definitely doing a great job of that. So over the last 14, 15 years with the Walk for Awareness, you've had thousands of people attend that. And it's probably hard to quantify just the impact that that's had on people, the friendships that have been created off the back of that. And for me, that's one of the reasons that the 58 marathons exist, as much as I'm very excited to see the landscapes and have some great experiences. And I'm doing with some great friends, but we're going to meet so many people along this journey and be able to invite them into our community as well, because unfortunately not everyone has a place where they feel valued, where they feel seen and heard. And by doing this, by inspiring people, I'm aiming to inspire people to demand more from themselves that maybe they would on an average day, to get out there and then also be around people who are uplifted and are already positive and welcome them into the community, which I think, an extended hand saves lives every day of the week.
And thank you. And I guess, this journey that started, 15 years ago, wanting to, I guess, pay tribute to my mates. One thing that I've learned through the journey of mental health is that community and participation with people that inspire you, uplift you, love you, has revealed itself to be super important for us as individuals, right? And I guess, we hear these words, community, and we hear this come down and participate. But until you actually get affected, or until we actually perhaps, I guess we go through our years of growing, it's probably since my 30s and 40s that I've realized how important community is. And I really mean it. Just even like I remember living in Byron Bay, and uh, Byron Bay is beautiful, but it's just full of rentals, right? It's just all Airbnbs. And we were living there and we had no one around us because everyone was just transparent, right? When COVID hit, it forced us to actually move up to Gold Coast, but people were living there full time. And we realized, oh my God, just a neighborhood community, how important that is, right? And then obviously, as I've gone through life, I've realized that having the community that we have here at Function Well, which is how we have met, having that gym community. Why is that gym community important? Because exercise is super important. It's important for your mental health. And, those days that you're not feeling it, your mates there going, come on, let's go. Or, just that bum tap. I'm a big bum tapper with men, of course. Stewie Law, as we call them. Stewie Law is famous cricketer back in the day. To those that are international, that have no idea what cricket is. But yeah, just that encouragement that comes with our community. And then obviously being in the mental health community, working with people like yourself that want to lift people up, right? That we want to get the best out of people, which then exposes me to the people within your group, that we're all here to try and help each other, and that community itself. And then your work community, just working with people that you like. It's really hard. And I'm sure there's toxic environments out there, and it's really, you got to be really careful of that. But it's so nice that when you have a nice work community, right? Because that uplifts you. And then obviously your social community, who are your friends? Are your friends, bringing you down, or are you friends lifting you up? And I've just learned that it's really nice when you have a group of mates that actually want to see the best out of you, but want to inspire you by doing good things, and like you are, being successful, right? Just being in your presence is like, yeah, I want to model that.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, okay, you're looking after your mental health. You're exercising. You're drinking lots of water. You're sober at the moment, and I'm sober too. Like taking a break from alcohol. Like how good is that? So, mate, thank you for creating those communities that we have.
Well, it's a big thing. Community, we obviously met at Function Well. Function Well, we've been very fortunate to get a number of incredible sponsors that without them, this probably wouldn't have been possible to keep my feet on the ground, and then obviously spread the message of the Mental Awareness Foundation and raising awareness for positive mental health. And as you mentioned, you're a part of the Man It Can group, and you've always been someone that I've aspired to be like, through the idea of in business, you're very successful, and that's one thing that I would love to do as well. However, you have great social circles. You never neglect your health. You're always in the gym doing things, and you have great, I said social circle, but also really show people that you care about them. And for me, as a man, that's what I aspire to be, because you do have this, you have the ability to be tough when you need to be tough, but you also are genuinely such a kind, caring person that people gravitate to. So for me, having you part of our group and part of my community and in my social sphere, it's like, okay, this is awesome. But recently you've been going through and sharing a lot more of your struggles. And I said to you just off air, when I don't want this to come across badly, but I was like, it's nice to see that you're dealing with some human, because even though you've always dealt with stuff over the years, this is probably the first time where I've really not just heard about it. I've been there while you're going through it. And I feel the fact that you're sharing that is a huge lesson for so many people, because quite often the people that we aspire to be like or meet along the way, we always see the after, this is how I achieved this or this. And we're like, oh, you wouldn't have really gone through that. But in fact, you do. And how you've conducted yourself, once again, is a great testament to the character of man that you are. And for me, and for those who don't know Wes, he's dealing with, and he'll share in a second, but how he's conducting himself, he's still hitting the gym. He's actually cut out alcohol rather than become dependent on it. He's doubled down on his quality of relationships and who he gives time to. And for me, that's just like, okay, well, through adversity, that's still the kind of bloke you are. You don't just have this facade or persona when things are going well, which it's easy to do. Yep. You're genuinely that bloke even when shit's hitting the fan. Yes. So for me, that's a message that I want to pass along to people. One, surround yourself with people who are actually like that, because it's only making me want to be better, because I'm watching you charge into the storm and I'm like, what a weapon. But also it then has highlighted things that I need to work on, even though they're not troublesome in my life just yet. I'm still growth minded enough to go, okay, I want to be able to do similar should I ever find myself in a situation like that.
Yeah. And thank you. And obviously, so I've got beautiful tools in the toolbox. And one thing that I've learned through this mental health journey of losing mates to suicide is that being vulnerable and talking about your issues that we're going through is super important. Why? Because obviously, I guess it's good to vent, right? It's good to get out, but also you're not bottling it up. And when we bottle things up or we try to suppress them, they just build up, right? And then obviously we have those big explosions, and that's where heavy fit people can take certain steps that are quite drastic, right? But I just, to give you some background, I am genuinely going through probably the hardest period of my life, and I'm going through some significant financial stress. However, I've signed up for it. I take on the responsibility of this. I know that I'm going to have some significant losses. And when that reveals itself, it puts a lot of pressure on you, right? And because all of a sudden you're going from, I guess, a place of elation to a place of depression, and it's significant numbers, it's millions of dollars. And it's hard because obviously you've done all this work to get to a certain point, and now you're going back to zero and negative, right? However, the one thing that when this challenge obviously revealed itself, I realized that I have to go into this with a clear mind, because the pressure's not going to relieve itself. It's probably another 3 months away before I get on the other side of this. But what can I do, or what are those things that I can control, right? Where it can make me feel better about myself. And one significant thing that revealed itself was I have to actually, particularly coming into Christmas period, we're in December 24 here, and it's what we call the festive season. There's lots of lunches and Christmas parties and stuff like that. And I just knew I needed a clear sound of mind. And so I just went, I'm going sober. And I am telling you this, if you are going through any significant pressure financially or emotionally or relationship, getting off alcohol particularly has been a game changer. Why? The mind chatter, Lockie, already is turned up. The volume is pretty significant. Beating myself up because I've got myself into this position. The last thing I need is to then turn the volume up even extra of going out. And sure, at the time, it may, inverted commas, take your troubles away because you're out having a good time. But gee, that next day, that next morning, when you wake up and your problems are still there, and then all of a sudden an email comes through, or this is overdue and everything like that. And you're like, oh my God, how am I meant to deal with this when I'm already hungover and I'm already going through this pressure? And just by cutting that out, just my world I call it the fog. The fog has just slightly lifted. And then what can I do? You've seen, which I've shared, is get to the gym. I'm meditating more, right? I'm doing those things that just make me feel better about going through this difficult situation. And there was a period there, Lockie, a couple of weeks ago, which I shared with the team. I was going through a really dark day, mate. There was a period there where I went, oh my God, I can see how people just go no, I've had enough. The pressure and just holy shit, this is intense and this is real and oh my God. And, the thing that I did when I went through that really dark day was actually just acknowledge it. And I went, oh my God, this is a really horrible day. And I just breathed. I just breathed through that pressure. And it was amazing. Not that the pressure left, it's just that the pressure of our released and the fog lifted, and I just got through that day, and I went, wow. I felt so blessed that I went through such a heavy day that I survived. And that evening I shared with the group, and I shared with my partner. And then the next day came, and I'm like, I've got to face this challenge again. And Lockie, it was a mantra that I heard or someone shared and I'll share with the group: love the fight, fall in love with the challenge, fall in love with the fight that I've got ahead of me. And that's particularly this last sort of 10 days. I've been doing it every morning going, okay, today's going to be a tough day, but I've got to fall in love with this fight, that I've got to do this deal and negotiate this and speak with my business partner about that and support him and find this amount of money here, and just fall in love with that, because eventually it will dissipate. And then when you get through that, the beauty will reveal itself, and that we're still here and we're still fighting massively.
A thing that I'd love to touch on as well, you've had these practices for a number of years as well, and you said your tool belt, and not every time the same tool works. So it's important to have that tool belt. But the key that I feel is like learning that when times are good. It's quite often when we hit the crisis point that people act. That's when a lot of people reach out to me, which is awesome that they're reaching out. But for me, I would love for positive mental health, especially because they have, a lot of the research is now showing so many other factors outside of mental illness impact mental health. Like it could be going through a divorce, financial pressure, as you've mentioned, feeling foggy or groggy, challenges with alcohol and drug use. So if we're aware of that, we should start building tools when life's good. Like for me right now, I'm in a good position, but I'm still continuing to learn and practice the things that help me when I'm struggling or I feel will help me, because life's full of seasons. I'm in summer right now. Winter will come. It always does.
Yes.
And when winter comes, I want to know that I've got tools that I've been practicing and I've got, readily available to help me through those times. And that's, as you've said breathing. For me, community, having friends that you can count on. I'm always calling my buddies. Most of the time we're talking shit, but every now and then we'll have those conversations when we need it. It could be getting in the gym, sunlight. There's so many tools, and we can find resources on the website as well, which I'm excited about. But that would be just one thing. If life's awesome for you at the moment, still start practicing and investing in those tools. Still invest in your relationship, in your health, all of those things, because they're gonna be a great asset in the future.
Just to add to it, so guys, win the morning, and girls, win the morning, win the day. Find that routine, because I think obviously me getting through this challenge is just a compound effect of what I've started 13 years ago. 13 years ago, I started personal development, and I went through a path where obviously learning about the positives and the negatives, and then obviously mental health and losing mates to suicide and the importance of exercise, all that. Since that, it's just compounded to get to where I am today. And today, like, I'm going through my winter moment. But the great thing is that I've got these skills that will get me through. I've got the jacket, I've got the gloves and everything. Well, from a metaphorical perspective. And no, not that I'm cruising through it, but I'm in a really good place. And having people, and to finish on this, having people like yourself, that good people that in your life that you feel safe, that you can talk to about this, super important.
Definitely. And I guess just one final thing, the funds that we raise, so people probably, how does that help you guys in your mission?
Yeah. So and thank you if you do hear this message and you do donate, I want to say thank you. Gratitude brings abundance. Obviously, it supports us as a charity. So we are a charity, the Mental Awareness Foundation. So we're all about suicide prevention. So we have a strong message out there. So obviously, supporting us helps support the message of getting out there and supporting others and preserving lives. Also helps us put on the walk for awareness. But what we do as a charity, or something that we have been a little bit different, is we actually support other mental health charities. So we're not a service provider. We don't do counselling services or face-to-face services. However, Lockie, there's actually amazing organisations out there that do, right? So, for example, there's an organisation that I spoke to Ken yesterday, in the Sunlight Centre. He actually does crisis counselling he mainly focuses with teens, but he'll see anyone. But he'll actually sit there. So if someone's suicidal, like literally in a really bad place, he will sit with you for free and help work through this, right? There's another organization that we've supported in the past called Suicide Prevention Pathways. They're counselors. They'll do FaceTime, they'll do phone, or they'll sit down with you face to face, right? There's no charge for their service. And what they do is they are the gap. So they fill the gap from, I guess, getting a mental health plan to seeing a psychologist. Now, unfortunately, there's a wait time of over 3 months, right? So, you can imagine like a week is long enough. 3 months is a long time, particularly if someone needs help. So they fill that gap. So they're counselors that support you. What they tend to do is they build up a network, like a web to catch you if you fall through, right? So they're fantastic as well. And there's another great organisation called Mates in Construction. They help. Fortunately, within the construction industry here in Australia, it's where the highest suicide rate exists. That's just a fact. But they actually train people on site to listen out for markers. So, let's say Johnny's doing it tough at home or having some issues financially. They train people to have the courage or have the skills to go up and talk to Johnny and say, hey, mate, what's going on? Or, hey, are you thinking about suicide? Like, just get straight to the point. So we actually support other charities that are out there that are doing the great work on the front line. And because with mental health, Lockie, it's about supporting each other. So obviously we want to support our message, but we actually also want to support other people's messages.
I love that, mate. And I think it's awesome because there are, as you said, there's so many great charities out there doing things in their own way, and they're all, greatly needed. There's so many wait lists for various things around the place. So guys, if you want to support this mission and obviously even support me, a lot of people are asking how you can support me. The best way you can support me is by helping us support Mental Awareness Foundation, who are then helping the people in the front line because, 1 in 2 Australians are impacted by it, whether it's directly or through, friends and family. So I think it's very important that we all continue, 1, raising awareness, but also 2, doing things to implement change. And that starts with you. It starts by building that toolkit out for yourself, as reestablishing and deepening the relationships that you have with the people that you care about most. So I'm very excited to, raise over $100,000 for you guys because I know it's going to be going to a good place and we're going to be changing lives as a result of that. And you guys can be part of that too. And if you listen to this, you already are part of it because you've supported me. So thank you guys.
Yeah, please. And most importantly, like and share. Yeah. So if you've got this, if you're seeing this message, but I just want to finish with this, Lockie. Take time for yourself. Encourage your loved ones to take time because being able to just step away from the chaos that exists within our lives. It's really nice to just perhaps get outside, sit under a tree, have a cup of tea, just do something for yourself, right? Because if you look after yourself, you can look after others. And being able to look after others brings a better world, and that's what we want.
Awesome. So jump on Google, search Mental Awareness Foundation, and you'll see a link to donate there. Thank you guys for listening. As Wes said, like, share, subscribe, and buckle up for the next 58 days. It's going to be a wild one.